Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 2nd of November, 2025, and I'm still in the same hotel room. I'm out of here tomorrow, still wearing the same shirt because that's just how I roll. I did clean my tent, I vacuumed it, cleaned all my comforters, my sleeping bag, and my pillowcase because I had to because it smelled like it smelled bad. It is what it is. What are you going to do? But at any rate, I'm in Louisiana and I'm heading to meet some subscribers that have been waiting for me for quite a while. One of them just texted me, actually. So there you go. So for the subscribers I haven't met as of yet, I'm on my way. I told you, West Coast first, East Coast when it cools off, down south, and that's where I'm at. But I'm making this video because after my live stream last night, I got a couple of messages from some dudes that I know that are active military, and they said that yes, indeed, 6 of Trump's top officials are now going to live on military bases because due to their affiliation with ICE, they're being doxxed and they're worried for their safety. So that story is accurate, but here's the gist. They're also saying that, it's an open joke, that they know that they're doing this to hype up the reasoning for Trump to put more troops on the street, that soldiers actually know this. And I'll tell you what, another thing that I was correct about was Hegseth giving that big speech face-to-face with all the top military brass was to split the military right down the middle, because you can't have a civil war if you don't have two sides of the military opposed to each other, and Trump's done that perfectly. This entire setup is literally happening in real time right now. This is no joke. This is literally happening. It's not coming. The New World Order is here. They're just putting up their pyramid all around us right now. So let's get into this. So the story about these guys moving to military bases for their amid political protests, which is just ridiculous because this is all gaslighting. They're making this up. We've got protests in towns where Soros-backed protesters and organic, because when you see protesters on the streets in the towns that you live in, people jump in, mob mentality. This is all happening for a reason right here, but it says several senior Trump officials are living in or will soon be living in military bases housed in the Washington area. Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem moved into senior military bases in Washington to shield themselves from protests outside their homes and political violence. And it's all over the place now, you know what I mean? American Military News is talking about it. This is a thing. This is a thing.
Pentagon has ordered the National Guard to create what's known as quick reaction forces in every state and U.S. territory that are trained to respond to riots and civil unrest within the United States. According to the Pentagon directives, as many as 500 soldiers in each state or territory will be assigned to deploy on short notice and receive non-lethal training in crowd control, handling of detainees, and the use of batons, stun guns, as well as body shields. The news came the very same day that President Trump said courts will not stop him from using troops against U.S. citizens. The very same day that President Trump said courts will not stop him from using troops against U.S. citizens.
So they're not messing around. They're making all the moves they have to make to put troops on the street, and half the people will say, well, we need them there because of protests and such. You heard what he said. Trump said he doesn't care what the courts say. He will use force against American citizens. And don't forget that this is a thing. This happened. This is real. It's just a little bit over a year old, but it is still active. The only thing that's changed is it's no longer the Department of Defense. It's the Department of War. But as I've shown you before, they can use lethal force against American citizens. That's a bad thing. It's a bad day at the office, but that's why all of these people have to move, because their safety is in such jeopardy. You know what I mean? This is all a move to get troops on the street, period. You know what I mean? And now even NVIDIA, my computers are powered by NVIDIA. The computing giant that this week became the world's first $5 trillion company is powering U.S. immigration and customs enforcement's investigations, according to federal records reviewed by The Intercept. So there you go. There you go. There is your Office of Pre-Crime right there. And I'll tell you what, if you're watching this and you've commented on this, you're on the list. So act accordingly, because this isn't coming. This is here. This is here right now. I mean, they're not going to tell you absolutely everything, but they've done absolutely everything, and Trump continues to do absolutely everything to simply get us all surrounded by our own military, with our military's weapons that you paid for pointing at you. And if you talk out of the side of your neck, they can put one in you, because, hey, no law against that. No law against that. This law's been sitting around. It's an old law that was on the books. You know, we didn't do it. Biden did it. You see how that works? You see what I'm saying? You see what's going on? And then you add things like this to it right here. This will be the digital ID. This is so that you have to prove that you're human. Even though every single solitary time you turn around, you can wake up and your bank is completely wiped out because of some sort of a glitch by Amazon or whoever else. And when they do that, their stock goes up. So they screw everybody. They take out half the internet and they make more money off of it. We're in a rigged system right now that's not even hiding itself whatsoever at all. They are not hiding anything whatsoever at all. It's insane. It's in your face. So there is an update. Yes, I was skeptical about this, but then when the soldiers call, I have to make a video. You know what I mean? And that's all there is to it. But right now, I want to show you a video that Dan Dix from Press for Truth put out, and he's hitting some good points. He's on the same track as me, and then all of a sudden he goes right off the tracks. It's like a train in Palestine, Ohio, all over again. So check this out.
The U.S. is a tough one because, you know, we have the notion of the First Amendment. And so what are the exceptions, you know, like yelling fire in a theater, you know, and because you're anonymous online, you know, it can be worse. I do think over time, you know, with things like deep fakes, most of the time you're online, you're going to want to be in an environment where the people are truly identified. That is, they're connected to a real world identity that you trust, instead of just people saying whatever they want. And so the idea of provenance, who sent me this email, was that really them? You know, we're going to have systems and behaviors that we're more aware of. Okay, who says that? Who created this?
Or in other words, we need a full-blown Orwellian surveillance control grid for your protection. Now listen to what the European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde recently said, claiming she has good news about the coming digital euro, which is the EU's incoming central bank digital currency.
Hello. I have good news for you on the digital euro front. Today, the Governing Council has decided to move ahead on the next and final phase of the preparatory work for the digital euro. The other good news is that on October 23rd, the European Council has asked us and all those involved to accelerate the process so that we can roll out the digital euro as early as possible. This is important because as much as banknotes will continue to circulate, we want cash to be in the form of digital euro as well, so that you can circulate banknotes and click cash with the digital euro. More work is going to be done in the next few months, and if we receive the approval by the European Parliament in the course of 26, we'll be able to pilot the digital euro as of 27. And if the pilot is conclusive and positive, it will be a formal rollout in the whole of Europe in 2029. This is a big project because the euro is our currency, your currency. It brings us together. It's a symbol of trust in our common destiny. So off we go with the digital euro in that next and final phase of the preparation.
So you just heard Christine Lagarde, someone I've covered dozens and dozens of times over the years, going all the way back to 2007, saying that a global euro currency is the final preparation of the New World Order. It's the one thing she didn't say. It doesn't make any sense, but the final preparation. They're forcing this on us. No two ways about it. I mean, this is it. This is happening right now. And they know that we're going to rise up, so they got to put troops in every single solitary state and town. You see what I mean? And here's the other part of this. When I talked to the guys, I talked to 3 separate guys last night. A Marine, 2 U.S. Army guys, both are Special Forces. They're all active duty right now, so they know what's going on in the bases. And they're telling me that in the bases, some soldiers actually see this for what it is. That there's paid protesters that are messing with ICE because they're getting paid for it. They're there all day, every day, all nonstop. No, they got the bail money, they got everything all lined up, good to go. But then you've got other troops that aren't awake, that are like, they can't wait to get their hands on protesters. Well, pretty soon, we're going to be the protesters because we're going to have no other avenue. We're basically going to have to fight till we die. That's it. I mean, that's my plan. Should be yours too. Because there's no accepting this system. And here's the deal. The corporations have control of absolutely everything. Food, gas, electricity, everything. Everything can't even come to mind right now, but they own absolutely everything. They own all the national news. That wasn't just a thing to quiet down Israel. This all comes together. It's like a great big burrito of suck, and they're ready. They're ready. This is their final preparation right now. So Dan's talking about how bad the digital ID and the social credit system is and the digital currency. And then he says this, which I don't understand. Maybe it's a Canadian thing, but what?
Destiny. So off we go with the digital euro in that next and final phase of the preparation.
A global CBDC is the endgame, but first they need everyone tied into a global digital ID. So even though this kicked off in the UK, the reality is this isn't British exceptionalism. It's a template. The EU is already salivating with their EIDAS 2.0, aka the Electronic Identification, Authentication, and Trust Services. Canada is piloting its Known Traveller Digital ID. Australia's got MyGov ID. And even in the US, they're sneaking in MDL, mobile driver's licenses, through the state DMVs. And all of these are connectable. Link it all up, and all of a sudden there's a 360-degree dossier on your thoughts, your moves, and your loyalties. One glitch, one suspicious red flag, and you're locked out of society. They'll sell it as safety, to stop fraud and fight terrorism. But the fine print, your social credit score just went live. Step out of line, and you'll lose access to your own money. And that's not hyperbole. That's Article 23 of the EU's draft regulation. The bottom line is that CBDCs and digital ID are not the solution to our problems. They're the state's endgame. So what the heck do we do about all of this now, before it's too late? Well, I want to talk about solutions, but really quick, just before I do, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Clean Core Solutions, listed on the New York Stock Exchange with the ticker ZONE. I'm sure you're all familiar with Dogecoin, but what you may not know is that what started out as just a cute little dog meme has grown into a full-fledged, functional, real-world currency. It's decentralized, it's open-sourced, and it's used for peer-to-peer value transfer without banks. And ZONE, on the New York Stock Exchange, is now the official Dogecoin treasury, and it's redefining what institutional Dogecoin exposure looks like. Think MicroStrategy for Bitcoin, but for Dogecoin. Only smarter, faster, and built for yield and utility. They've already raised $175 million, led by Pantera, Mosaics, Falcon X, and GSR. They've accumulated over 710 million Doge, and they're targeting 1 billion tokens within 30 days. They've generated $20 million in unrealized gains in just the first month alone. This isn't passive holding, guys. ZONE actively grows and monetizes Dogecoin through its exclusive partner, House of Doge, the corporate arm of the Dogecoin Foundation. Together, they're building payments infrastructure for sports and universities and retail, yield-bearing products, and tokenized assets, the US Doge ETF, and real-world remittances tipping, and micropayments. House of Doge is pushing forward with projects to enable practical everyday uses, so the real-world demand for Doge is set to surge, transforming it into a go-to payment method and a reliable store of value. 𝗡nci𝘃𝗲𝗺𝗕's official Doge treasury is built to ride this wave, steadily building holdings in sync with Dogecoin's growing footprint in worldwide commerce. And just look at the numbers and the ranking in the cryptocurrency space. Dogecoin is the number 8 cryptocurrency by market cap with over $28 billion in value, almost $1 billion in daily volume, and over 151 billion tokens. And now, Wall Street can finally buy Foundation-approved Dogecoin exposure through a regulated NYSE stock. These guys are absolutely killing it right now. Zone isn't just holding Dogecoin, it's making it work.
Okay, so maybe I'm retarded, but how did he just start telling us how bad the global digital pass, which will be tied to the digital currency, which will be tied to your digital social credit system, and then he spends how many minutes talking about you should buy Bitcoin from the Doge guys, and he's accepting payments in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I left a comment, and I think it's gone. I bet you it is gone. Yeah, it's gone. I left a comment saying, Dan, I've been putting your info out on my channels for whatever that's worth. Oh, actually, there it is. There it is. And you popped again. He didn't take it down. And then you fucking push digital Dogecoin shit. Never mind. Unbelievable. I mean, what am I missing here? How does he think that anything, the word Doge on it, and the fact that it's a digital currency, when this goes down, the only thing you're going to have to get you by while you're protesting and hoping something occurs where that this doesn't come to fruition, but it's going to, because we're the only country left that's actually going to fight back. Maybe, because it's not a guarantee. I know a lot of people that have been talking a lot for the last 20 years, and then when COVID hit, they started getting, 3%er masks and Rage Against the System face mask and other things, and they all did the lockdowns and stuff. So you're going to need gold, silver, lead, food, supplies, and prayer. It just blew me away that he just did all that, and then his sponsor, which was almost half the video, is the exact same thing. There is no separation. There's no corporation that's going against the system. It doesn't work like that. They just swoop in and buy it from you, or you get shot by a guy that sounds like a Mario Kart person, Luigi. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy because I'm listening to it and I'm already leaving a comment going, hey, Dan, stay on it, brother. You're really kicking ass. And then his sponsor showed up and I went, what? Are you kidding me? Gold, silver, lead, food, water, and skills. And I've been teaching them to you guys for years. Whether you've implemented them or not, I don't know what to tell you. But all I've been doing for the last 10 years is meeting people that are. Because some of us take this for exactly what it is. You see this right here? They're making moves every single day, constantly. You see what I mean? Every single day. Oh, she's fighting against the machine. Nope, you got to prove you're human. That's all they want. That's all they want. And now they've got the paperwork. It's in stone. It's never been overturned. It's still sitting right here. They can shoot and use lethal force against American citizens, which is all we've ever talked about since I started making channels. And before that, well, that started last year and it's still here. At any rate, pray. If you can't do anything else, get your mind right. Get ready to meet your maker if you have to, because you cannot go along with the system, because once you take that mark, it's in the Bible. You cannot buy or sell without it. Well, guess what? You're either going to buy or you're not going to buy. I ain't buying it, and you shouldn't either. Richie from Boston. I got to pack it up. And for those of you that haven't done it yet, get your money out of the bank. Turn your 401k and your IRA, those ones and zeros, into gold and silver, and have them ship the gold and silver physical to your house. straight up. A lot of you have already done it, but pretty soon you ain't going to be able to do it. That pretty soon could be any minute now, because these guys are making massive moves. Like Christine Lagarde said, these are the final moves in their preparation. They're done. They're ready. You heard it from her. Richie from Boston. I'm out.